Hello everyone, Xeno What If here. Bring in part 17 of What If the Maximals crashed landed in Remnant. Link down description of the fanfiction of this What If. Listen here YouTube. I do not own anything and this is not a scam. Chapter 34, Other Voices Part 1. Deep space. In the space around Remnant everything was peaceful. Around Remnant the stasis pods orbited the planets as none were close to falling. But past Remnant's broken moon, the space rippled and from the ripple came some sort of energy disk, with a glowing center. The disk flew towards Remnant as every sensor that could detect it went crazy. Veil, Patch, Axelon. At the Axelon the console that Rhinox was working at went crazy from the readings it was getting. Alert. Power anomaly in grid triad. Said Sentinel making Rhinox worried. Display coordinates and cross-reference energy signature with data track DAO7. Instructed Rhinox. As the data came in, he saw whatever was coming was going to land in a safe ring in vacuo. As he saw this the computer compared the current energy reading to the data track Rhinox ordered. Energy signature identical with previous alien contact. Said Sentinel as Optimus and Skyshooter came over. Looks like our unknown friends have finally arrived. Said Rhinox with a hint of worry in his voice. The question is, what will they do first? Asked Skyshooter curious. From what I can tell, they're going to land in vacuo. Where a safe ring is. Said Rhinox as Optimus walked over to the command table. He then activated it and saw where everyone was on the planet. Most were in the Axelon. Blake, Cheater and Tigatron were in Veil. Bladigator and Speedclaw were in Atlas at Willow's request. He then saw 3 units near the site. Eraser, Rattrap, and Velvet are closets. Tell them to check it out. Instructed Optimus. Check what out? Asked Ruby as the rest of her team and Coco walked in. They're here, was all Optimus had to say to make the 4 of them worry. Then we need to send out an alert to everyone. Said Ruby as she went to a console. Are you sure everyone? Asked Yang as everyone knew what she meant. Yes Yang, even Ironwood. Said Ruby as she saw the looks on both Yang's and Coco's faces. Look, I don't like what he did as well, but whatever happens next, we have no idea what it could be. We may need the Atlas fleet. Reasoned Ruby as Optimus agreed with her. She's right, said Optimus as he got a serious look on his face. Ruby, Weiss, Coco, and Skyshooter, you're with me. The rest of you will stay here and get the base ready for anything. Ordered Optimus as he wished he knew what they should get ready for. The Preds will have picked up this signal. Warned Rhinox as they had more insight to what's to come due to that new disc. We still have a truce. Said Optimus though he doubted it would last much longer as he turned to the girls. I want you 3 armed to the teeth. There's no telling what the aliens or Megatron will do. Warned Optimus hoping they won't need it. What about you and Skyshooter? Asked Weiss curious. We'll be breaking the truce if we arm ourselves. Stated Skyshooter as part of him felt the need to. A feeling Optimus shared. Ruby, be safe out there. Said Yang as she was worried for her little sister. I will be. Said Ruby as she added. The same goes to you. Of course. Said Yang as she shared a look with Weiss. Weiss nodded as the 5 of them headed out. Do you think they'll be okay? Asked Yang nervous. I'd be lying if I said yes. Admitted Rhinox as everyone was on edge. But for now, we focus on what we can do. I still got data to go over, so I want you to send out the message to everyone warning them the aliens are here. Said Rhinox as Yang sighed. She then sat down on a chair as it moved her to a console. As she got the message ready, she couldn't help but worry. Unknown location, Tarantulas' lair. Tarantulas laughed as he worked on a computer. He got the same readings as Rhinox and knew what was coming. They're here. As I anticipated, given the data I hack from Megatron's private files. Said Tarantulas out loud to himself. Computer. Calculate next stasis pod landing. Instructed Tarantulas as this way would be the easier option for him. Stasis pod will achieve planet fall in 30.6 megacycles. The computer told him as that was too long. Slag. Not soon enough. Growled Tarantulas. Then it's time for plan B. Said Tarantulas as he needed special equipment for this and luckily for him the aliens will keep nearly everyone busy. But even then, sneaking into the Axelon will be no easy feat. As Tarantulas went to get what he needed, he failed to see Blackarachnia watching him from the ceiling as she knew the spider was going to make his move. And she was ready to make hers. But what neither knew was Megatron was watching Tarantulas as well. He watched everything from an oddly empty control room. Ah, the treachery. Yees, said Megatron as he turned the screen off. But he wasn't worried in the slightest. Properly guided, it should serve me well, said Megatron as he turned to another screen and activated it. On it should a few White Fang members and Waspinator playing cards. Waspinator, said Megatron as everyone stopped playing and looked to the nearby screen Megatron was on. Yes, said Waspinator, curious to what Megatron needed. I want you to proceed to coordinate and secure the area. I will follow shortly, ordered Megatron as Waspinator sighed. Always when Waspinator is winning, grumbled Waspinator as he didn't want to go, making Megatron crossed. May I remind Waspinator that the current ceasefire applies only in reference to Maximals, said Megatron as everyone got the meaning behind that. Waspinator will go, was all Waspinator said as he transformed into beast mode and flew off. Megatron, one member asked, a little scared. Yes, what is it? Asked Megatron. It's the aliens, isn't it? Asked the member, but more as a statement. Megatron didn't answer him as he turned the screen off. The members looked at each other in fear. Everyone knew the aliens were coming, but none of them knew what the plan to deal with them was. And Megatron refused to answer anyone. This crossed the White Fang the wrong way as Megatron had next to no support amongst them. Back with Megatron, he was looking at the new golden disc with concern and worry on his face. From now on, I must play this carefully. Very carefully indeed, Megatron told himself, as there were too many variables right now. There was the Maximals, but he had a good read on them, and should be able to predict their movements to an extent. Then there was Ironwood, but concerning how easy he was to capture, he wasn't too worried. No, the one thing that made him worry was whoever Cinder was working for. He had a good guess it was that mystery woman from the flying island, but he needed more to go on. But for now, his focus was on the aliens and to an extent the Maximals. Vacuo, safe ring. Erazor flew towards the safe ring where the aliens would ever landed. This ring was surrounded by sand as far as the eye could see. And unlike the ring in Vale, which looked like Stonehenge, this one was just a circle of stones. As Erazor flew, she had Rattrap on her back while Velvet was in her talons. As Erazor flew, she asked Velvet several times if she was okay, only for her to get that she was fine. Looks like we found the source of the anomaly, said Erazor as they got closer to it. But is that a good or bad thing? Asked Velvet, scared, and for good reason. After that flying island incident, she saw firsthand what these aliens can do. Sister, that's the question, said Rattrap as he chose to keep his mouth shut for Velvet's sake, as this was nerve-wracking enough. He didn't need her running off when things got bad. The three then landed at the ring as Erazor let go of Velvet as she then landed and allowed Rattrap off her back. That's when they all saw it. In the center of the ring on a pedestal was a glowing ball. To Velvet it almost looked like the same glow Energon gave off. What is that? Asked Velvet as she kept a safe distance from the orb. Strip my circuit and call me a toaster. This Energon crystal is stable, said Rattrap in shock. But how? Asked Velvet. That can't happen in nature. That's the question, replied Rattrap, eyeing the area for anything. If it's stable, then I should be able to scan it safely, said Erazor as she transformed and started her scan. It's a field generator, and it's building up tremendous, started Erazor as a nearby stone shot a beam at her. Erazor got knocked down hard as both Rattrap and Velvet were shocked to see this. As Velvet rushed over to her, Rattrap then saw the orb starting to descend. Oh no, said Rattrap as he started to back away from the orb. As the orb sank into the ground, it released an energy pulse that knocked Rattrap clear of the ring. Inside the ring, Velvet got knocked into a stone as her aura took most of the blow. My aching coils, said Rattrap as he slowly got up. As he did, Rattrap's optics went wide as the orb pulsed with energy, as it then created a weird green dome around the safe ring and his friends inside. Oh, this is not good, said Rattrap as he then transformed as he looked at the dome, unsure what to do. Rattrap to Optimus. Come in, fearless leader, said Rattrap into his comms, hoping this dome didn't interfere. In the dropship, Optimus heard the call as he answered it. Optimus here. Have you reached the anomaly? Asked Optimus concerned. Have it ever? It's some sort of nutty alien bungalow and it swallowed Eraser and Velvet. You better get here fast, said Rattrap as Waspinator came out of nowhere and tackled Rattrap to the ground. Rattrap! Rattrap! Yelled Optimus as he lost contact. What about Velvet? Asked Coco worried for her friend and teammate. I don't know, said Optimus as he turned to Skyshooter who was flying the ship. How long? A few minutes, said Skyshooter as he was worried too. Why are we taking this thing anyway? The ground bridge is faster, said Coco worried. I know, said Optimus as he placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. But we don't know what we're heading into and if we can't contact the base for a bridge, I don't want us to be trapped. Hearing that Coco knew he was right, but it still annoyed her that her friend was in danger, and she could do nothing. Oh. Vacuo, safe ring, inside the dome. Eraser felt something shaking her as her systems came back online. Eraser wake up, said Velvet as Eraser got up. What happened? Asked Eraser as she looked around. Where are we? Inside a dome. The orb somehow made all this. Answered Velvet a bit scared, as Eraser fully got up. That was when they heard what sounded like a voice, but it made no sense to either of them. When they heard the voice stop, Eraser spoke up. We mean you no harm, said Eraser looking everywhere only for a new voice to speak, and they heard something powering up. Then out of nowhere electrical bolts hit Eraser lifting her off the ground. Seeing this, Velvet fell to the ground in shock and fear as her instincts were screaming to her to run. She could only watch on as Eraser was lifted over the orb as she yelled out in pain. But then she realized something. Why am I being left alone? She asked herself as nothing was coming her way. Realizing this made it so she could move a little, but in the end, she had no idea what she could do to help Eraser. At the same time outside the dome, Rattrap was getting up. Oh man, this is definitely not my day, groaned Rattrap as Waspinator floated in front of him. Waspinator secure area, said Waspinator as he transformed and landed. Now Maximal will leave or be scrapped, warned Waspinator as he looked down on Rattrap. Hearing that, Rattrap quickly got up as he was ready to deal with the bug before him. No chance, bug face. I got here first. Besides, we got a ceasefire going, remember? Explained Rattrap, hoping that Waspinator would try something. So, Waspinator not shot, said Waspinator as he then suckered punched Rattrap, knocking him down. Ouch. Oh man, it's amazing how sweet we're all being these days, said Rattrap sarcastically as he then jumped up and faced Waspinator. Rattrap then jumped at Waspinator. About halfway to Waspinator, Rattrap transformed back into beast mode with a spin. The spinning Rattrap then slammed into Waspinator, spending the pred skywards before crashing on the ground. Rattrap then transformed back into robot mode. Problem is, you fight with a rat, said Rattrap as he kicked dirt into Waspinator's optics, blinding him. You better fight dirty. Rattrap then marched up to Waspinator as he kneed him in the groin. Waspinator cried out in pain from this as he kneeled over. Oh yeah, he doesn't like that, mocked Rattrap as he put Waspinator into a headlock. Robo Noogie, cried Rattrap as rubbed his fist so fast on Waspinator's head that spark flew. Once Rattrap had enough of that, he tossed Waspinator away as he was bent over with his rear pointed at Rattrap. Waspinator could only look on as Rattrap came up and kicked him in the rear. The blow sent Waspinator skyward again as he landed on his head. Now get lost, ordered Rattrap as Waspinator got up, trying to get his circuits aligned. Waspinator think area is secured enough, said Waspinator in a high-pitched voice, and he transformed and flew off. Rattrap stood there proud as he heard the dropship landing as Optimus and the others exited the ship. Was that Waspinator? Asked Weiss as she could somewhat make out the bug in the distance. It was, but he's gone, said Rattrap proudly. Hearing that, Optimus shook his head and sighed. He then turned to the dome as did the others. They all walked towards it looking for any way in. So Eraser and Velvet are in there? Asked Optimus, trying to figure out how to get in. Yeah, said Rattrap as he hadn't had a chance to look around. So how do we get in? Asked Ruby, looking around. Let's try this, said Coco as she brought out Janduya and fired at the dome while she used her semblance hype to power up the bullets. The bullets hit the dome as dust started to cover the area. After a few seconds of firing, Coco stopped as the dust cleared. When it did, she was shocked as there was no damage at all. "What the?" was all Coco could say as she moved her glasses down in disbelief. "What is this dome made of?" Skyshooter asked himself as he scanned the area Coco fired at. "Maybe something physical can do it," suggested Ruby as she brought out Crescent Rose and swung at the dome. When she made contact with the dome her blade bounced off. Weiss then saw Ruby looking like she was in a bit of pain. "Ruby, are you okay?" asked Weiss concerned. "Yeah, but whatever this is, it's stronger than anything I tried to cut before," answered Ruby as her hands stung from the failed attempt. Hearing that, Optimus ran his hands across it wondering what could work before he turned to Rattrap. "Try a cutting laser," he told Rattrap, hopeful as Rattrap brought one out. "You got it," said Rattrap as he got to work. Inside the dome, Eraser was still being tortured by the electrical bolts. Velvet was somewhat able to hold off her urge to run and hide, but at the same time she didn't know what to do. She couldn't see where the bolts were coming from. "Beast mode!" cried Eraser as she transformed into beast mode, and for some reason the bolts stopped. Eraser then fell to the ground. Velvet then rushed over as she heard the voices again, but it sounded like they were fighting. "Eraser, are you okay?" asked Velvet as she kneeled next to her friend. Eraser could only groan in pain, but at least she made a noise. Velvet gasped as she then saw a green beam over her. The beam hurt her as she screamed out in pain. But after the beam went over her whole body it stopped. Velvet patted hard as her body hurt. She then heard the voices again, but this time they almost sounded unimpressed. "Cybertron." Hearing that, Velvet's eyes went wide. Did they voice spoke in there long and say, "Cybertron. Hurry," thought Velvet as she was getting even more scared and worried. Back outside, the cutting laser was doing nothing. "This is getting us nowhere," said Ruby as nothing worked on the dome. "Dust and energy beams don't work on this," trailed off Skyshooter as he was deep in thought. "As I anticipated," said Megatron as he, Scorponic, Terrorsaur, Cinder and her team came walking up to them. "Megatron," said Optimus as this was the last thing they needed. "Holy Swiss cheese. We're in for it now," said Rattrap as anything could happen now as Megatron's group walked up to them. "Did you really expect energy beams and dust to work?" asked Megatron as he looked down on them. "Theseus aliens can create energon itself. And as we all know, energon is stronger than dust," finished Megatron. "Then what do you have?" asked Skyshooter, curious. "I suggest a different tactic," said Megatron as it dawned on the Maximals. "Biological?" asked Optimus, kicking himself for not thinking that. "Exactly," answered Megatron. "Scorponic." Scorponic then transformed as he aimed his tail at the dome. "One toxic sting coming up," said Scorponic as he fired his stinger at the dome. Everyone watched as that did it and a hole started to form. "Looks like you guessed right, Megatron. But two Maximals are trapped inside, we go in first," said Optimus in no room to discuss tone. "Hey, we did the work," said Mercury, annoyed as Megatron glared at him. "If you want to be first into an unknown location where anything and everything could happen, then be our guest," said Ruby as Mercury looked unsure. "You go right ahead," he told them as Cinder slapped him upside the head. "Use you head," she told him. "Indeed," agreed Megatron as the Maximals turned to the hole. "Coco, Ruby, Rattrap, you're with me," said Optimus as Skyshooter and Weiss understood the unspoken order to watch the Predacons. Optimus and Rattrap transformed into beast mode as they didn't know what the energon level inside the dome would be. Soon the four were inside as Skyshooter and Weiss stood near the entrance eyeing the Predacons before them. "Cinder, are you sure about all this?" asked Emerald in a low voice. "No," admitted Cinder as this was too much for her. "But let them go first and take the first blow." "Well said, Cinder," praised Megatron as he added. "But don't worry, we have extra firepower handy." Megatron then looked at Scorponic, who opened his claw just enough to reveal a missile in it. "I thought that was why we were here," said Mercury, confused. "It never hurts to have extra firepower," admitted Megatron as they had no idea what could happen. "Megatron, what if the Maximals somehow convince the aliens to join forces with them?" asked Cinder as she eyed the hole. "That though did cross my processors, but it is unlikely that will happen." "What do the Maximals have to offer that we don't?" answered Megatron as the aliens most likely saw them as insects. Inside the dome, the Maximals looked around, keeping an eye out for anything and for their friends. None of them said anything as the eerie lighting and how the stones looked different. Everyone was on edge. That was when Coco heard some hard breathing. Rushing to the source, she saw Velvet on her knees breathing hard with Eraser near her. "Over here," yelled Coco as the others rushed over. "Velvet, are you okay?" asked Coco as she rushed over and kneeled next to her. Velvet looked up and hugged Coco tightly. "Velvet, what happened?" asked Optimus, worried for her and Eraser. "It was horrible, Optimus. It looked like they were torturing Eraser. Then some weird green field passed over me, hurting me at the same time," said Velvet as tears started to form in her eyes. Optimus said nothing as he wished that this never happened to either of them in the first place. "I'm sorry," said Optimus as he placed a hand on Velvet's shoulder. "Optimus," started Velvet as she fought back tears. "They know where you're from." Hearing that somewhat surprised Optimus as Theseus aliens had him before as well. So who know what they got from him? He then looked at the others. "Get them out of here," ordered Optimus as Coco helped Velvet to her feet and led her out. "Man, don't have to tell me twice," said Rattrap as he started to drag Eraser out of here. "You're going to confront them, aren't you?" asked Ruby as she was still there. "Yes," was all Optimus said. "Then we'll do it together," said Ruby as Optimus knew she wouldn't take no for an answer. "You two can't be serious?" asked Rattrap, looking at them like they were crazy. "I have too. Since our arrival we haven't exactly been the best of tenants. Theseus aliens have the right to expect some answers," said Optimus as he knew the dangers from both sides, added Ruby as she felt the same. "Fine, but you're dealing with Yang when she finds out," said Rattrap as he continued on as he knew he couldn't change their minds. Seeing that their teammates were gone, both Optimus and Ruby knew what they had to do. "All right, whoever you are," started Optimus when out of ground came metal cables that quickly wrapped around Optimus's and Ruby's limbs as they lifted them up. That's when more cables came out and wrapped around them. The two struggled, but with their limbs, chest and necks wrapped in the cables there was little they could do. "Let us go. We just want to talk," yelled Ruby on to hear nothing in response. But then the same green beams that scanned Velvet appeared again as they passed over the two of them. And like with Velvet, it hurt the two of them as they screamed out in pain. "Oh oh 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 oh. Veil, Patch, Axelon." While the others were dealing with the aliens, Tarantulas moved in on the Axelon and his jail. The spider was climbing up the side of the cliff behind the Axelon as he reached the top and saw the Axelon's shield. Looking at the shield, Tarantulas transformed and pulled out a pole with a sphere top. He then planted it in the ground and turned it on. It then fired a beam of light at the Axelon's shield, opening a door for him. Tarantulas then laughed as he transformed back into beast mode and went through the hole he made. As he passed through, the device sparked and turned off. Watching him though was Inferno in beast mode. He was given instructions from to watch the spider. "Ah, the royalty was right. That spider spins his own web," said Inferno as he walked to the shield and stopped. He looked around as he had to follow the spider, his royalty commanded it. That was when Inferno got an idea and started to dig under the shield. Watching this from above was Blackarachnia in beast mode. This was getting a little serious to her. But when she tried to contact Ruby earlier, it went straight to voicemail. She thought of contacting Optimus, but she bet that he's right next to her wherever they are. And contacting the other Maximals would be a waste of time. That means she's on her own. Blackarachnia shook her head. A few decacycles ago she wouldn't have cared, but now she somewhat cared. Maybe she has a problem in her processor, or maybe, and this was a big maybe, she did care for her soon-to-be teammates. Thinking that made her shudder. She looked over at Inferno and saw he was under. Seeing this, Blackarachnia transformed and looked at a device on her arm. With the shield codes she got from Optimus, this would allow her to walk right through the shield. As long as they didn't change the codes. So talking a few steps slowly, Blackarachnia reached the shield and put her arm out and relaxed when it went through the shield. Seeing that it worked, she then walked right through the shield. "Oh oh 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 oh. Vacuo, safe ring." Everyone was shocked when they heard Optimus and Ruby screaming from inside the dome. Weiss then rushed to the hole only for Skyshooter to stop her. "Let me go," said Weiss, struggling to get out of his grip. "No Weiss, we don't know what's going on inside," said Skyshooter as he felt the same way. "All the more reason to go in," countered Weiss. "Ah, if I could have that sound to lull me to sleep." said Megatron, enjoying the sounds of their pain. Weiss heard that and glared at the tyrant. She then got out of Skyshooter's grasp and turned to face Megatron as she got Mertanaster out. Say that again, dared Weiss with a glare on her face. Megatron chuckled as Weiss was ready to charge when Skyshooter grabbed her wrist. Weiss, stand down, ordered Skyshooter with a glare on his face. But, started Weiss as he furry died down. Seeing this, Skyshooter let go of her. I know Weiss, I do. But right now, we can't afford to break the truce. Skyshooter told her as they couldn't afford it. They're coming out, said Scorponic as everyone looked over and saw the others coming as the hole was starting to close. But Mercury ignored him. Hey princess, listen to you, Robo Butler. Mocked Mercury as both Weiss and Skyshooter glared at him. At least I don't follow a psycho. Countered Weiss as Emerald glared at her. Don't talk about Cinder that way, yelled Emerald as she brought out Thief's Respite fired at Weiss. Weiss saw it and dodged as the shot hit the dome as Rattrap came out. What the? Cried out Rattrap confused. Emerald, yelled Cinder as Emerald realized what she did. Both sides got ready for a fight as those who weren't in robot mode transformed. Megatron, do we have the time for this? Asked Skyshooter as Megatron thought about it. The aliens were here, and the door was closed. Fighting the Maximals right now would be a waste of resources. And if he was being honest with everything going on, if he could focus on the aliens a little more, then he would. No, we don't, said Megatron as this shocked his side. We will leave for now, but know this, the truce is over, said Megatron as he transformed back into beast mode before looking at Cinder. Keep your forces under control, Cinder, said Megatron with a stern look as the Predacons walked off. Did that just happen? Asked Rattrap in surprise. Yes, it did, said a surprised Coco. Quick, we need to get back in there, said Weiss as she was worried. Back inside the dome, the scans on both Optimus and Ruby had finished, leaving both of them weak. Scan complete. We've seen this being before, said a voice, bring focus back to Optimus and Ruby. Who are you? Asked Optimus weakly. Then their bindings moved, making it so both Optimus and Ruby were being held up straight. They then heard footsteps from the shadows as they both gasped at what came out. Two beings that looked male. The first one had antlers on his head almost like a crown. But what stood out was he was glowing a gold color, and this being had no features. No face, no eyes, nothing. The other one had segmented horns on his head that arced back and curved upwards. Like the other one, he was also glowing, but a dark purple color. And like the other, he had no features. Who are you? Asked Ruby in awe as she felt like she knew them from somewhere. We are your gods, said the gold being. What? Was all Ruby could say as the purple one looked at her. You are from this world, but you have something of the other's world, the purple one said as he held out his hand. Then to both Optimus and Ruby's shock, the Matrix floated away from Ruby and turned back into its real form. The two beings looked at it in fascination. Interesting, this device records memories and can passes it on to others, said the gold being. Yes, it has two memories in it right now. One is hers and the other is like him, said the purple being as he held out his hand and an image of Optimus Prime appeared. He then waved his hand and the Matrix returned to Ruby. What are you two? Asked Optimus as he was in awe and fear of their power. We told you were gods, said the purple being. What my brother means is we gave this world life, said the gold being as it dawned on Ruby. From the stories, then you're the gods of light and darkness? Asked Ruby. Yes, young one, said the god of light. Neither Optimus nor Ruby knew what to say as this was too much for them. Tell me, Optimus, was it, why are you here? Asked the god of light, curious. Bring Optimus out of it. We were chasing down a thief when our ships crashed here, said Optimus, summarizing what happened. So you're law enforcement? Asked the god of light. No, we're explorers. We were the only ones in the area who could go after Megatron, answered Optimus. And what will you do if you do arrest this Megatron? Asked the god of darkness. Try to get home, answered Optimus as the two beings looked at each other. Hearing that, the two brothers looked at each other as if they were talking. And the beings of this world, what will you do about them? Asked the god of light. We have rules about non-space-faring species. We can't interfere with them. I know we broke that rule, but we're doing what we can to keep hidden here, answered Optimus as he was nervous. And do you agree with that? Asked the god of light as he looked at Ruby. Yes. I found them, others were attacked by the Predacons, and some found out. Answered Ruby as when she met the Maximals for the first time felt like a lifetime ago. And the Predacon, did they do the same? Asked the god of darkness. No, they get whoever they seem like they'd help them. Answered Optimus. The brothers looked at each other again as the god of light sighed. It seems you were right, brother. Said the god of light. I understand where you are coming from, brother, but it seems like the experiment has failed. The god of darkness said. Experiment? Asked Ruby confused. What experiment? The brothers shared a look as this made Ruby even more worried. It's not like it will matter much longer. Said the god of light. Then go ahead. Said the god of darkness as the god of light explained. You see, we used to live on this world. We would let the people of this world come to us and ask for help. If we deemed it worthy, we would. But then one day a woman came to me and asked me to bring back her dead lover. I said no. She then went to my brother and using trickery made him do what she wanted. When I found out, I went to talk to my brother, but due to a misunderstanding we almost fought. For her deceit I cursed her never to die until the world ended. But this was a mistake. She used my curse to her advantage and gathered the humans to attack us. In the end we wiped out humanity, except for the woman, and left her on a dead world. Afterwards we left the planet. Hearing that shocked Optimus and Ruby to the core. It was our own fault. Thinking that woman would learn her lesson. Admitted the god of darkness. Then why are we here now? Asked Ruby as she wasn't sure if she wanted to know the answer or not. Because we want to give humanity another chance. Said the god of light as he explained again. After a few centuries, in your time frame, we decided to give humanity another chance, but this time they weren't alone. We created the fauna, something similar to them, but at the same time different. We wished to see if two races could survive on the same world at the same time. But we knew that on other worlds, much like on Cybertron, two races rarely lived together in peace. So we created a common enemy for them. What you called the Grim. But we gave them everything they needed to survive. Ruby swore when the god of light said that last bit. He was looking at her. Wait, the energon. The way it formed didn't make sense with the planet and was much stronger than dust. Said Optimus as it made sense now. Why the Grim avoided it and why it was much more powerful than dust. That is correct. Said the god of darkness as he continued. We also gave them what you call safe rings, for perception in the island you destroyed as a safe haven. That wasn't our fault. Some weird pale-skinned woman took control of it. Said Ruby as this caught the god's attention. Pale-skinned woman, do you think? Asked the god of light curious. Maybe. Said the god of darkness as he held out his hand as Ruby felt like something was in her head. Then an image of the woman appeared before them. So, she's causing trouble. Said the god of darkness, shocking Optimus and Ruby. Wait, she's the woman you cursed. Said Ruby. Yes, we had hoped the centuries would make her realize what happened was her fault, but it seems we failed to realize her hate. Admitted the god of light. It would seem she went into my pool. Said the god of darkness. That would explain why the Grim behaved slightly differently than what we wanted. Said the god of light. Then sending Ozma back was the right choice at the time. Said the god of darkness as this was too much for Optimus and Ruby. It is a shame. I had such high hopes for this world. Said the god of light. I know, but with the woman and the Transformers acting out on this world, the experiment is done. They can't develop naturally in this environment. Said the god of darkness. What does that mean for this world? Asked Optimus worried. You truly care for this world, don't you? Asked the god of light. I do. Said Optimus without a second thought. We gave this world 2 chances, and they have failed both. Said the god of darkness. But this woman was your fault, and she's been here longer than the Transformers. Spoke up Ruby as the god of darkness looked at her. Do not think you can tell us what to do. The god told her. But she is right, but the damage is done. Said the god of light. Then we're agreed. Asked the god of darkness. Yes, Remnant will be destroyed. Said the god of light, shocking the two. What? Said Ruby in disbelief. You can't. Yelled Optimus. And why can't we? Asked the god of light curious. You have no right. Answered Optimus with a glare. No right. We made this world, its people, everything. Does that not give us the right? Asked the god of darkness. Why must you destroy this world? Asked Ruby in fear. The god of light looked at her and Ruby swore it almost looked like he pitied her. We gave this world 2 chances already. We admit we made a mistake with the woman, so we sent Ozma to balance it. But the Transformers are changing everything. The god of light told her. Then with you power make it so we can leave this world. If you do I promise that I will do everything in my power to make it so we don't return. Offered Optimus hoping they would take it. If we meet when you first crashed here, we would have taken that offer. But it's been too long. Said the god of light. What do you mean? Asked Optimus confused. Even the smallest stone thrown into a lake can make the largest ripples. You interacted with the people of this world, and they have grown. Some good, some bad, but they've been affected by your kind. Explained the god of light as neither Optimus nor Ruby had a counter for that as it was true. And then they're giving the young child here that item. Said the god of darkness as he pointed at Ruby. But they didn't give me the matrix. We have no idea how it came into my possession. Ruby told them as the two looked into her memoirs. They found nothing of how the matrix came into her possession. They then looked into the matrix. What they saw was a ball flying through space. The ball was shrinking in size as it reached Remnant, before falling towards the planet. They then saw the ball hovering over a baby Ruby before entering her. The gods looked at each other as this matrix was very impressive to them. They actually thought of taking it with them but chose not to. It was hard enough to end this world again without a reminder. Then to Optimus and Ruby's surprise they were lowered to the ground and let go. It's time to leave, brother. Said the god of darkness. No. Said Ruby as she brought out Crescent Rose and got into a fighting stance. You would fight us, knowing our power, by yourself? Asked the god of light curious. She's not alone. Said Optimus as he transformed and brought out his weapons. You are not of this world, yet you'd fight for it, why? Asked the god of darkness intrigued. You're right, we did the harm, so I will not let you punish the entire world for what we did. Said Optimus as the god of darkness laughed. His body then changed before them as Western-style dragon. He stood on 4 legs, as his horns split in 2. He had wings on his back, and he gained a skull-like face and bone-like spines that ran down his body. Seeing this, Optimus and Ruby took a step back in shock but held their stances. You're brave, I'll give you that. But it's over. Said the god of darkness as he flew upwards and vanished. Enjoy what time you have left. Said the god of light as there was a flash of light. When Optimus and Ruby could see again, they gasped as they were outside the dome with the other. Optimus. Ruby. Where did you two come from? Asked Skyshooter in shock. That was when the dome started to glow and make a weird pulsing sound. What's going on? Asked Coco in fear. The gods are going to destroy our world. Said Ruby in fear as one thought went through everyone's mind. Gods. They all said at the same time, confused. There's no time to explain. We'd better get out of here. Said Optimus. You just said my favorite phrase. Said Rattrap as they all rushed to the ship. When they got it in the air, the dome then exploded as energy shot straight upwards. People from miles away could see it. Megatron being one as he frowned. Back to base, hurry. He ordered as his worst fear came true. Even at Shade Academy they saw the beam. Students and staff were panicking as no one had any idea what was going on. Even the headmaster was worried but kept up a strong poker face for the students and staff. The beam was so strong it shot into space as it passed the stasis pods. The strong energy from the beam played havoc with the pod systems as they all lost their orbit and started to fall towards Remnant, as the fate of the protoforms were unknown. Back with the beam, it fired into the middle of space as it suddenly hit something. The space around the beam started to ripple. From the ripple came a gigantic sphere the size of a moon and it was slowly powering up. Oh. Veil, Patch, Axelon. At the Axelon, every maximal and organic member, except for Cheater, Tigatron, Blake and Optimus's team were looking at the screen as Rhinox worked. Massive energon surge emanating from Grid Trion. Communications impossible. Informed Sentinel. Can you track the stasis pods? Asked Rhinox, worried for them. Negative. Said Sentinel, making the bot fear the worst for them. Forget the pods, what about our people? Asked Yang, worried about them. The Shelia is right, mate, what about Optimus and them? Agreed Boomer. They can take care of themselves, but the protoforms in the pods can't. Said Bladigator as he was right. Divert all power to space scanners. Lock onto their beam and ride it. Ordered Rhinox as he was doing everything he could. Boosting power. Interlocking. Lock achieved. Imaging. Informed Sentinel as the screen changed. To most of them it looked like some sort of river going upwards that lead to some sort of oval. But to those who did it scared them. What the slagging, started Rhinox only to hear the roof hatch opening. Everyone looked over confused as they saw tarantulas there. Everyone then tried to get to their weapons, only for tarantulas to drop a sphere on the ground. The sphere unleashed an electrical shock so great it made them all pass out from the pain. Tarantulas then landed on the ground as the screams for the others made Dinobot and Yatsuhashi come rushing in with their blades ready. Tarantulas, said Yatsuhashi in surprise. And that surprise was all Tarantulas needed as he fired his spider leg machine guns at the two. It was so fast that neither Dinobot or Yatsuhashi had time to block them, as they crashed through the glass door of the lift. Seeing that he was in the clear for the moment, Tarantulas decided to see what Rhinox was working on as saw the screen and its data. Reading it and understanding what he saw, Tarantulas said one thing. The beginning of the end. And with that he rushed off as he had little time left. Meanwhile outside the entire sphere had appeared as lines appeared all over it and glowed. Signifying it was ready for whatever the brothers wanted it to do. Chapter 35, Over Voices Part 2. Currently on the planet of Remnant there wasn't one person who wasn't panicking in some form or another right now. After the beam of light shot out from Vacuo everyone was scared in the area. And when the sphere started to form the rest of the world started panicking. They knew it would bring the Grimm, but they didn't care. But the weird thing was even the Grimm seemed scared as they ran. In any direction they could. They even avoided settlements to get away. As Optimus's team rushed back to the Axelon, both Optimus and Ruby said nothing about what happened. Not that they didn't want to, it was just they couldn't afford to right now. With Tigatron, Cheater, and Blake they all looked up at the beam and the sphere that was being made. Suffering circuits. What could it be? Asked Cheater a bit scared. I don't know, said Blake as her instincts were telling her to run. The light at the end of the world, answered Tigatron in a grim tone. Optimus Primal to all units, we have a Code X. I repeat, Code X, said Optimus over the comms, as every Maximals and human allied to the Maximals heard this alert. Atlas. In Atlas, Willow heard the call and paled as she looked out the window at the sphere in the sky. She then picked up her scroll and dialed a number. This is Willow Schnee, said Willow as she listened to the other side. This is an emergency. I just received word from Specialist Schnee that there is a full-force attack group of unknown origin heading for the Energon Research Center. I want a full-scale evacuation now, ordered Willow as she heard the other side panicking. I don't care about the Energon. I want everyone and what research that can be saved out of there, now. Ordered Willow as she then hung up and made another call. Klein, I need you find Whiteley and make sure he's safe, said Willow as she smiled at what she heard. Klein, you're a lifesaver, said Willow as she hung up and prayed that they'd survive this. With Winter she rushed through the halls of Atlas Academy as she reached Ironwood's office. Then without even knocking she rushed in. Inside she saw a surprised Ace Ops and Ironwood. Winter, said a surprised Clover. What's going on? Optimus just called for a Code X, said Winter as the Ace Ops didn't know what that meant. Meaning? Asked Marrow. This could be the end of the world, said Winter grimly as they knew what that light meant now. Sir, what are your orders? Asked Winter as she and the Ace Ops awaited his orders. But Ironwood said nothing. Sir? Asked Clover a little worried. But Ironwood said nothing. Instead, he just looked up at the sphere forming in the sky as he thought to himself. Even with the disc, we wouldn't have had enough time to do anything. I put Atlas at risk for nothing, thought Ironwood as he was lost in his head. Clover, divide your team, we need to make sure nothing is in the air and that the citizens of both Atlas and Mantle know it's safe, but get them into shelters just to be safe. The last thing we need is the Grimm to attack us, ordered Winter as this caught the Ace Ops off guard. Harriet was about to say something when Clover stopped her. You heard her, people. Vine, take Harriet and secure Atlas. Marrow and Elm, head down to Mantle and help calm the people down. If you need help, talk to Robin Hill, hopefully she'll cooperate. I'll get the ships down, instructed Clover as the Ace Ops headed out. Winter, started Clover as he looked at Ironwood as he hadn't reacted to Winter taking charge. If he's the leader we truly think he is, then he'll snap out of this. If not, then, trailed off Winter as she hoped Ironwood would snap out of it. As the two left, Ironwood did listen to what Winter said, as it was time to be a real leader. And with that in mind he turned and headed for the door. Oh. Vale, Beacon. Ozpin was worried, no, terrified would be a better word. He feared this day would come and now it's here. Ozpin, what do we do? Asked Glinda as she was scared. Ozpin took a sip of his coffee to calm himself. Glinda, gather all the teachers and the students you trust the most. Have them head into Vale and calm the citizens. And then have them gather in the closest shelters. Instructed Ozpin as he got up. Sir, what if that's not enough? Asked Glinda as she looked at the sphere in the sky. It has to be, Glinda. Because if not, what can we do? We can't find everyone in Vale on the Axelon. This is what we can do. We have to hope Optimus and them can stop whatever this is. Said Ozpin as Glinda saw how much he wished he could do more. And with that they headed out to save what lives they could. Elsewhere in Vale, Kiro was in a small settlement as he was arguing with its leader. I'm telling you we should leave and find a safe place. Said Kiro in a worried tone. And I'm telling you we'll be fine. Said the leader as Kiro sighed. Listen, I've seen a lot and have been all over the world. But this is new to me. And are you willing to risk everyone's lives? Asked Kiro as he was ready to leave. That was when they heard the door open slightly and they saw a couple of kids looking at them worried. Seeing this, the leader sighed in defeat. There's a cave system nearby we can hide in. Said the leader as he was hoping he was making the right choice. Kiro looked up at the sphere as he hoped that they will live to tell this story. But for now, he had people he had to help. Oh. Vale, Maximal Dropship. Flying as fast as they could, the Maximal Dropship flew through the skies. Velvet was still shaken up as Coco stayed by her side, while Erizar was doing a full system check on herself. Weiss looked at Ruby worried as she had an unreadable face on. Ruby? Asked Weiss nervous as Ruby looked at her. What happened in there? Weiss asked her concerned. Truthfully, Weiss, I'm still trying to figure that out. Admitted Ruby as that didn't sit well with anyone. Oh, I've been saying this ever since we hit this mudball. We're all going to die. Said Rattrap as he was scared. We're not scrapped yet. Said Optimus confidently. Rhinox is more than likely on top of the situation and hopefully has a way to deal with those gods. Hearing that made some of them feel better, but then realized what Optimus said at the end. Gods. Said everyone confused as Optimus and Ruby sighed. We'll explain later. Said Optimus as they didn't have time to deal with that right now. But what they didn't know was, that at the safe ring the last of the dome shot up into space. When the last of the beam hit the sphere, nothing happened. People all over then got confused. Everyone thought along the same lines, what was that? But the real danger had yet to begin. Oh. Vacuo, Darkside. At the Darkside, Pterosaur looked at the sphere confused. Is that everything? Pterosaur asked himself, confused as he expected more. Fool, this was the opening act. Said Megatron, form his command chair. Computer patch and space scanner. Ordered Megatron as he needed to know what was coming. Megatron, all White Fanger accounted for. Said Adam as he entered the room. Any idea what's going to happen? Adam asked Megatron worried. Not yet, was all Megaton said as he hated this waiting. Do you think we can survive? Asked Adam fearful. Hearing that Megaron couldn't blame him as he had his doubts as well. But he couldn't show fear right now. I still have one more play to make. Said Megatron as he got up. I am leaving you in command, Adam. Megatron told him as this shocked Adam. What? Why? Demanded Adam as they needed Megatron right now. For this play to work I need total focus on it. But keep me up to date on any changes. No matter how small. Instructed Megatron as he left for his quarters. What do you think our chances are? Asked Adam as he looked at Roman. To be honest, so slim I can count that low. Said Roman as he wished he had an angle. Then we'll have to hope Megatron's plan works. Or the Maximals do something. Said Cinder as she joined the two. While all three hated each other, this was a rare time they were all in agreement. The three then looked at a monitor as the sphere, wondering what was next. Oh. Space, unknown sphere. As the last bit of energy entered the sphere, nothing happened. But on the inside for the sphere the energy caused a system to activate. On the outside of the sphere bright lights shot out as people on Remnant could see it and freaked out. Then a hole opened at the front of the sphere. The hole then grew, revealing the inside of the sphere was nearly hollow. All that was inside was another sphere. The outside sphere then turned into a ring around the smaller sphere. The ring then sent a wave of energy to the smaller sphere as it absorbed it. The smaller sphere then started to open as well as it turned into a ring as well. Then the smaller ring morphed into a dish with the center sticking outwards. Oh. Vacuo, dark side. Seeing this, Adam felt a cold sweat go down his face. Scorponic send all available to Megatron along with a visual. Ordered Adam as Scorponic did as he was ordered. Pterosaur seal ever access to the base. And put the shields to full power. Draw power from whatever systems you need, expect the scanners. Continued Adam. In his room Megatron got the data as he frowned. The alien device was getting ready to do whatever it was meant to do. Time was growing short. Computer, activate program 0 hour. Ordered Megatron as he looked at the screen and saw the Maximals base. Activated. Scanning for trans-warp signatures. Said the computer as Megatron brought his hand to his chin and rubbed it. Now to see if my faith in Tarantulas' abilities is justified. Said Megatron as he was hoping he didn't overplay the spider's abilities. Signature located. Establishing position. Said the computer as it zoomed in on the Axelon as Megatron realized something. The Maximal base shields are down. Said Megatron enjoy as this would work even better than he thought. Computer scan Maximal base. Use alien frequency. Ordered Megatron as he had to know who was there. Scanning, 5 Maximals detected, 3 humans detected. Units Tarantulas, Inferno, and Blackarachnia detected. Said the computer as Megatron was confused by that last one. What is Blackarachnia doing there? Megatron asked himself as she had been acting weird as of late. Could she be in league with Tarantulas? But that was something to deal with later. Luckily my loyal drone is still with him. Perfect. Said Megatron as he suddenly had a bad feeling. Oh. Veil, Patch, Axelon. In the Axelon stasis pod bay Tarantulas was hard at work on a pod. After seeing the readings from the Axelon's sensors he knew he didn't have long. Luckily the Maximals had everything he need to get the work done. Trans-warp drive functioning at tolerable levels. Force shields at 55%. Said the computer as Tarantulas worked on the programming as he wore a special visor to help him with it. Excellent. Said Tarantulas as he should be able to leave this mud ball soon. Download data tracks Archon. Said Tarantulas this was the last and most important data he needed. Then out of nowhere Tarantulas was hit in the back sending him flying over the pod and his visor flying elsewhere. Shaking his head Tarantulas got up and frowned at he saw Inferno there. The royalty will be interested to know what you are up to Spider. Said Inferno as he glared at Tarantulas as Tarantulas got up. Inferno to Megatron. Said Inferno into his radio only to get static, so he tried again. Seeing this Tarantulas saw a chance as he pulled out his gun. Tarantulas then fired at Inferno. A dart flew through the air at Inferno. But Inferno was more than quick enough as he tossed his gun up and caught the dart with both his hands. Inferno then dropped the dart as his gun came down as he caught it while laughing. Inferno then shot Tarantulas' gun out of his hand as it flew to the wall. Tarantulas then fired his leg machine guns at Inferno. But Inferno took the shots as they did nothing to him. You're no match for me. Declared Inferno as he changed setting on his gun. Burn traitor, burn. Said Inferno as he used the flamethrower setting on his gun. The flames hit Tarantulas causing him great pain. Tarantulas hit the ground as he rolled around in pain. Though luckily for Tarantulas, due to the space between them the flames weren't as strong as Inferno wanted so they went out faster. But Tarantulas took enough damage to put him into stasis lock. Oh. Vacuo, dark side. Trans-warp signature no longer active. Data flow aborted. Scans show unit Tarantulas non-functional. Informed the computer as Megatron was furious. No. What has that fool done? Questioned Megatron as part of him even wondered why he sent Inferno after Tarantulas. While the other half questioned what he could do now. Megatron then frowned as his only course of action may be to contact Optimus and tell him his plan. It wasn't ideal, but dying was even worse. Veil, Patch, Axelon. Back at the Axelon, Optimus's group had just touched down and were making their way to the Axelon as they ran into Tigatron's group. "Are you guys okay?" asked Cheater, worried. "For now, yes," said Ruby as she looked up at the device with worry. "Let's hope Rhinox has an idea on how to stop it," said Velvet as she was scared. "Wait, why's the shield down?" asked Eraser, worried. Hearing that everyone got worried. If the shield was down, what did that mean for the others inside? "I've got a bad feeling about this," said Rattrap as everyone agreed with him. "Let's hurry, people," said Optimus as he, Skyshooter, and Ruby entered the lift first. When they entered the command room, they gasped. Everyone was on the ground unconscious. But the weird thing was they were all by the CR chamber. Walking over, Optimus found that both Rhinox and Dinobot were inside. "What happened here?" asked Ruby, confused, checking over Yang as the others entered the base. "Yatsuhashi. Fox," cried Velvet as she rushed to her teammates' sides. "Who did this?" growled Tigatron, ready to make them pay. "Look," said Blake, pointing to a screen showing the pod bay. In the pod bay, Inferno was looking at the pod Tarantulas was working on. But this wasn't his field of expertise. But crawling along the roof was Blackarachnia in beast mode. As she quietly made her way to Inferno, Inferno was none the wiser until Blackarachnia dropped down on him. She then transformed and kicked Inferno in the back. Inferno hit the pod as he shook his head to gain his bearings. But that was all the time Blackarachnia needed, as she brought out her gun and shot Inferno with cyber venom in the back. Inferno cried out in pain as he slumped down and went into stasis lock, never once seeing who attacked him. "And now that's dealt with," said Blackarachnia as she pushed Inferno out of the way. "On to business," finished Blackarachnia as she looked at the pod. That was when Blackarachnia heard people rushing her way. Turning around with her gun ready, she saw the remaining Maximals. "Took you long enough," said Blackarachnia with a frown as she lowered her gun. "What are you doing here?" questioned Skyshooter, not taking his optics off her. "Trying to save us all," said Blackarachnia, but frowned when she saw they were still on edge. "Ruby talked them down," said Blackarachnia with a sigh. "Ruby, what is she talking about?" asked Weiss, confused. "Allow me to introduce my inside person," said Ruby, shocking everyone, before looking at Blackarachnia. "What's going on?" asked Ruby, curious. "In what way?" asked Blackarachnia as she saw Tarantulas' visor and grabbed it. "In every way," said Optimus as he needed to know. "Well, Tarantulas came here to steal a pod and escape Remnant. He knocked out all your allies in one go. When I got here, I put Rhinox in your chamber after seeing the data on the screen," answered Blackarachnia as she went to the pod. "What is happening?" asked Skyshooter as Ruby and Optimus trusted her. Then that was enough for him, for now. "Whatever that thing up there, must be the aliens' endgame. From what I could see, it's about the size of a moon, so whatever it meant to do must be wide scale," said Blackarachnia as Rattrap spoke up. "Oh, for booting up cold, we can't trust her. She's a pred," said Rattrap. "Not anymore," said Blackarachnia, shocking everyone. "Then you want to be a Maximal?" asked Cheater, hopeful. "No, I'm on Ruby's side, that's all," said Blackarachnia, annoyed by all this. "Then what's your plan?" asked Ruby, getting back on track. "I don't know what that thing can do, but I have a way to get rid of it," said Blackarachnia, making Optimus curious. "How?" Optimus asked her. "A trans-wrap explosion," said Blackarachnia, shocking all the bots. "You can't be serious," said Rattrap, wide-eyed. "I am. We have no idea what that thing can do, or when it will start. Now if you got a better idea, I'm all ears," said Blackarachnia as she had a point. "How long to get it ready?" asked Optimus as she was right. "I'm not sure. I need to see where Tarantulas was at when Inferno attacked him," answered Blackarachnia as she won't lie, it felt nice not having someone doubt her skill. "Cheater, Tigatron, get those two to the cells. The rest of us will get the base ready for whatever could happen," ordered Optimus as he turned to Blackarachnia. "Let us know what you need," he told her as Blackarachnia nodded. "I'll help her. I'm familiar with trans-wrap cells and such and might be able to speed things along," said Skyshooter as everyone moved out. "Do you have a program for this?" Asked Skyshooter as he walked over. No, I'm using Tarantulas' program, said Blackarachnia as she saw the shocked look on Skyshooter's face. I know the dangers, but when this solar cycle began, did you see all this happening? Asked Blackarachnia as Skyshooter knew she was right. Is there any way to check for surprises? Skyshooter asked her curious. Yeah, if we had a few mega cycles, answered Blackarachnia as Skyshooter frowned. How can I help? Skyshooter asked as time wasn't on their side. Oh. Vacuo, Darkside. At the Darkside, Megatron was looking into other options when the computer spoke up. Trans-wrap cell reactivated. Data flow resumed. Informed the computer. Excellent, said Megatron as he suspected that Blackarachnia was the one who resumed the project. But he then frowned when he lost all the data. Blast it. Their shields are up, frowned Megatron as he knew the data flow would continue. That was when his screen changed to Atom's face. Megatron, the device has activated, said Atom as the screen changed again. Megatron watched as the device's inner ring started to glow. Then an energy field started to build up until it covered the whole dish. Then from the edges a beam of light headed to the middle. And then it fired the beam at Remnant. The field was so large it covered half of Vale and Vacuo. And some of Atlas. Vale, Patch, Axelon. In the Axelon, Optimus watched as the data came in. But it confused him. What's happening? Asked Velvet scared. I'm not sure, admitted Optimus as he explained. The device is firing some sort of beam at Remnant. But I can't make heads or tails of it. That was when they heard explosions. Everyone was confused as to what it was, until Erazor spoke up. The energon in the area, it's blowing up. She told everyone. That's not all, sister, even the Grim are exploding, said Rattrap as he was confused as the rest of them. The beam is some sort of signal, said Ruby as she understood. What are you saying, Ruby? Asked Weiss confused. If those two beings did make the Grim and the energon, then it stands to reason that they had some sort of way of ending them, said Ruby as it made the most sense to her. That's crazy, said Coco in disbelief. You got a better idea? Asked Ruby as the base started to shake from the explosions. But why? Asked Velvet confused. To ignite all the energon deposits all over the world. And if the Grim are exploding too, then nowhere is safe, said Optimus in fear. Mistral, Raven's camp. Raven could only watch on in confusion and fear. It all started when that weird object appeared in the sky. She was sure those robots had something to do with it. And then it fired that weird beam. Nothing happened at first, then a crate of worthless dust just exploded. Raven, what do we do? Asked a bandit as another explosion happened near them. Oh my own. The Grim are exploding too, yelled someone as more people panicked. Raven looked around as she saw and heard explosions everywhere. At this rate, we'll all die, thought Raven grimly as her options were limited. Leave all the dust behind. We need to move, yelled Raven as she started to move. She heard people yelling at her saying she was crazy and such, but right now all she cared about was living. And if that meant starting from scratch, then so be it. I swear the next time we meet, those machines will pay, vowed Raven as they costed her too much. Unknown location. With the unknown woman who took control of the floating island. She was livid. No, it was to be on my terms, not theirs, screamed the woman as she saw several flying Grim explode. Damn you, brothers. Damn you for eternity, continued the woman as she screamed to the heavens. All over the world explosions were taking place. Many villages and settlements were destroyed along with their inhabitants. Even the kingdoms were being hit hard as many buildings were either damaged or destroyed. Thought luckily the headmasters were smart and had people go to the shelters, saving many lives. Vacuo, Darkside. Things at the Darkside weren't going well. Due to all the explosions, the base shifted and moved. And due to the lava pool, some areas were in massive danger. Atom Area 38 is reporting the lava level is growing, yelled a White Fang member. Have everyone give the areas with lava in them at least an area space, ordered Atom as similar reports were coming in. What's wrong? Can't handle the heat, mocked Terrorsaur as Atom wanted him to get his. Enough, said Megatron as he returned and sat in his command chair. Report. We're dead, said Roman as Neo stayed close to his side. A little more detail. said Megatron as he didn't blame Roman for saying that. The beam is somehow causing the energon to blow up, said Scorponic in disbelief. Not only that, but there are reports of Grim blowing up as well, added Roman as he didn't believe it, but given what was happening, he couldn't ignore it. Hearing this, Megatron put it all together and gave a small laugh. Brilliant. They're causing a chain reaction that will rip this planet apart and erase all traces of this world. Simply to deal with us. What sheer ruthlessness, what disregard for sentient life. I rather like these aliens, praised Megatron as the others couldn't believe he said that. Megatron, started Cinder as she tried to keep her temper in check. If you done praising the beings trying to kill us, can you use this plan of yours to save us or not? Hearing that, Megatron chuckled as she had a point. Unfortunately, it's now out of my hands. But I know it will be put into effect soon, said Megatron as everyone looked at each other worried. But some of them knew panicking would be pointless right now. Oh. Vale, Patch, Axelon. How long until planet-wide destruction? Optimus asked Sentential worried. Planetary destruction in 28.5 cycles, answered Sentinel as it showed Remnant being destroyed. How long until Rhinox is functional? Asked Optimus as he wanted his friend and best thinker out here. 1 mega cycle remaining, Sentinel told him as Optimus sighed. Our only hope is Blackarachnia's plan, said Optimus worried, not because he didn't trust her, but because of how risky it was. Ruby discreetly looked over at Yang, who was still unconscious. Part of her wanted her sister here with her, while the other part knew she was a leader, and if she showed fear or concern right now, the others would worry as well. Ruby then felt someone grab her hand. Curious, she looked down and saw Weiss's hand. Ruby then looked at Weiss as she could see her trying to stay focused but had a look of worry starting to form on her face. Seeing this, Ruby gave Weiss's hand a quick squeeze to show her she was here. Blake saw this as she looked at Yang as well, as she was worried too. At the same time, Velvet was holding onto Coco as her eyes were shut, trying to block out the sounds of explosions. Skyshooter to Optimus, said Skyshooter over the comm unit. Optimus here, said Optimus, hoping for good news. We're ready, said Skyshooter as everyone rushed to the pod bay. Once there, everyone stood around the pod worried. The POD's ready, but due to the turbulence of the explosions and without knowing how the beam will affect the system, someone's going to have to fly this thing up there. Blackarachnia told everyone as many of them thought it was a death trap. And there's more, Optimus. The program we used was Tarantulas, so there could be some surprises, warned Skyshooter as it made the situation even grimmer. Can't we use the ground bridge as a launch platform and fire the pod at it? Asked Coco, curious. Smart idea, but no. The beam is playing havoc with the guidance system. It was one of our first ideas, said Blackarachnia as Skyshooter nodded in agreement. Optimus then started to walk to the pod when Velvet spoke up. Optimus, you're not going to fly that thing, are you? She asked him as everyone looked at him in worry. Yes, said Optimus as he looked at everyone as he continued. Only a transformer and one with flight capabilities has a chance of surviving this. And I won't put any of you in that situation. But I want you all to know this. Even though this crew came together under unique circumstances, it's been an honor to serve with all of you. To see how we've all grown and changed, and how we face danger. So, thank you. Hearing that, no one said anything, as they were touched. Or until Blackarachnia spoke up. Does he normally give such cheesy speeches? She asked, breaking the mood. Yup, said Rattrap as he agreed with her on that. But before I go, I need to do 2 things. The first is if something goes wrong and I don't make it, but all of you do. I want, started Optimus only to be cut off. Don't say things like that, Optimus, said Skyshooter as he interrupted him as he was jinxing himself. I know, Skyshooter, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Agreed Optimus, as the risks were too great. And if who's to be our leader? We all know who it will be, said Skyshooter as everyone, even Blackarachnia, looked at Ruby as she got nervous. Are you sure, Optimus? Asked Ruby, unsure of herself. I am. And this isn't because you have the Matrix, Ruby. You are a great leader, and with more experience, even a better one than Optimus Prime, said Optimus as he meant it. I'll do my best, said Ruby as she prayed Optimus would make it back, as she wasn't ready. My next order is you, Blackarachnia, said Optimus as he looked at Blackarachnia, making her nervous. Allow me to formally welcome you to the Maximals. You will be directly under Ruby's command," said Optimus as he held out his hand for her. Seeing this, Blackarachnia was a little taken back. If this was the dark side, she'd been nervous about shaking his hand. But it wasn't. So carefully she held out her claw hand and shook Optimus's hand. "Optimus," said Velvet as she couldn't find the words. Optimus looked at everyone in the room as he saw the looks on their faces. "Come back to us," said Blake as she said what everyone was thinking. "I'll do what I can," was all Optimus said as he walked to the pod. "How long will I have?" asked Optimus, curious. "You'll have about 30 nano-clicks," said Skyshooter as he rigged the charge himself, as Optimus nodded. Optimus then jumped into the pod as his shoulder guard folded in so he could lay down. "Good luck," was all Blackarachnia said as she knew Megatron would never do something like this. "I'll see you all soon," said Optimus as he saw the grim looks on everyone's faces. "Good luck, Optimus," said Skyshooter and Ruby at the same time as Optimus nodded to them. "Just in case you don't come back, can I have your quarters?" asked Rattrap, breaking the downcast mood. "No," said Optimus with a chuckle as he needed that. Optimus's feet then folded as he laid back in the pod and the door closed on him. Optimus then activated his face mask as he had a determined look on his face. The roof hatch then opened, while some of the flying bots wished it was them in there and not Optimus. The organics in the room had to cover their eyes from the light from the beam, while the Transformers' optics compensated for the change. "Be safe, Optimus," said Ruby weakly as the pod flew upwards through the hatch. Once outside, the hatch closed and the pod flew towards the device at its max speed. Inside the pod, Optimus had a bit of a hard time keeping it flying straight, from the explosions and other factors. Vacuo, Darkside. At the Darkside, the computer had just alerted Megatron that pod had taken off from the Axelon. "Computer, determine the pilot," ordered Megatron as he watched in bated breath. "Is this your last move?" asked Adam, curious as he, Roman, and Cinder circled around him. "Yes," was all Megatron said. "Optimus Primal is currently piloting the pod," informed the computer as it showed Optimus is next to the pod. Hearing this, Megatron grinned widely as this was even better than he hoped. "By the pit, the command codes have been changed. Optimus is flying the ship. How delicious, yes," said Megatron in joy. "So how is one small pod going to fight that thing?" asked Cinder, curious. "It won't, but its payload will," said Megatron with a grin, making the 3 wonder what was on board. Vale, Patch, Axelon. At the Axelon, everyone but Ruby was gathered around the command table, while Cheater was working on getting them a visual on Optimus's location. Come on," said Cheater as he hoped it worked. "Yes, there's Big Bot," said Cheater as he got it. Everyone looked as Optimus was halfway there. "How did you do this?" asked Weiss, curious as the shields were at full power preventing such a scan. "I opened a hole big enough for a spectrum pulse. Rhinox showed me how. I wish he was here," said Cheater as they could use him. "Blackarachnia," said Ruby as she sat at a console. "I want you here checking everything and anything that comes in contact with the pod." "Okay, but why?" asked Blackarachnia as she walked over and sat down. "2 reasons. 1, this is Tarantulas' programming, so something might go wrong. And second, I doubt Megatron will stay quiet during this," answered Ruby as she had a bad feeling about this. Optimus's location. In the pod, Optimus was getting closer and closer to the device. And the worst he had to deal with was turbulence. But at the same time, the turbulence was so great that if they used an autopilot it would have crashed. "Nearly there," said Optimus as he deactivated his face mask as he typed on a keyboard in front of him. "And no sign of any defense yet," continued Optimus as flying through the beam was hard enough. Vale, Patch, Axelon. He's closing in," said Cheater, nervous. "Computer, how much time?" asked Blake, nervous. "Planetary destruction in 5.3 cycles," informed Sentential. "Oh man, leave it to the monkey to leave it to the wire," said Rattrap, nervous. "That's odd," said Blackarachnia, making everyone look at her. "What is?" asked Ruby, worried. "I think there's a signal reaching the pod. It's hard to tell with all the interference," answered Blackarachnia as everyone gasped in fear. "Megatron," said Ruby as he was trying something. The question was what? Can we warn Optimus? Asked Cheater fearful. How? Asked Blackarachnia as she was barely familiar with the Axelon systems. Oh. Optimus's location. As Optimus neared the device, he was unaware of the danger he was in. Alien construct is in range. Informed the POD's computer. Let's do it. Commence ignition sequence. Ordered Optimus as this was the most dangerous part of the plan. Commencing. Ignition in 60 nano-clicks, said the POD's computer. Hearing that, Optimus pressed some buttons above him, causing a level to come out. Prepare to blow pod hatch, said Optimus as he was ready to leave. Unable to comply. Pod hatch is magna sealed, said the computer, shocking Optimus. What? That's impossible, said Optimus as he tried to open the pod hatch, but no avail. Oh, I assure you it is not, said Megatron's voice, confusing Optimus. Megatron, was all Optimus could say as Megatron's image appeared before him. Ironic, isn't it? Both of us hitting upon the same plan to destroy the alien machine. But fortunately, in my version the pilot goes down. Or should I say up with the ship, said Megatron as Optimus was trying to figure a way out. He thought about using his wrist cannons to blow the hatch open, but who knows if that would trigger the explosion prematurely. So he tried punch the glass, as he saw the device getting closer and closer. Oh, you Optimuses do love to sacrifice yourselves, don't you? Mocked Megatron as Optimus could only watch on in dread. Unfortunately, this time your foolishness will destroy you and your Maximals, said Megatron smugly. I might be gone, but the Maximals won't be, said Optimus sternly as this was his last retort to Megatron. They might have Ruby Rose and her Matrix, but she is only organic. But face it, Optimus, the Beast Wars are over. You lose, said Megatron as he pointed at Optimus for the last bit. Megatron then started to laugh as the computer started to count down. All the while Optimus cried out. 10, 9, 8, 7, Megatron, cried out Optimus. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And then the pod hit the device and exploded. The beam stopped instantly as the whole device exploded. 2 energy waves shot forth from the explosion. Everyone on Remnant saw the explosion. While most cheered that they were saved, some were still scared. But those who knew the truth were glad they were saved. But while Remnant was saved, the cost for saving it might have cost the whole world its freedom, as Optimus's damaged head floated where the device once was. And this is the end of part 17 of this What If. Do not forget to leave a comment down below, subscribe to this channel.